Greetings, dear ones. This is Friday, the 27th of June, 2025. I say those dates, and yet there isn't almost a true processing or computation of that. Time is so... what is the word? So fluid, so unreliable at this point, so different, so non-linear, but then pops back into linearity. So much is going on. Not an excuse for beginning late, so I apologize. But I really wanted to take this opportunity today. There's so much, of course, going on. So many people are dealing with very, very profound, very universal, macrocosmly, microcosmly aspects of human being, of beyond human being. And it seems that there are very few touch points or reference points or anchor points or pillars to grab onto, to lean, to navigate by, to reference for where we are, again, individually and collectively. And that is a perfect and well-designed place to be for this, within this process of evolution and at this particular moment. So if you are feeling very much lost isn't the right word, unsure, unable to count on or rely on or lean into your ways that you've functioned in the world up until this point, the truth that you believed and identified with, and thereby were able to make certain choices, make certain ways. Again, I keep going back to ways because our whole way of being is under, I would say renovation, but it really isn't. This is a complete, as I've mentioned before, kind of taking down to below the foundation level, clean slate level, if you will, a completely new birth, not rebirth, but a completely new birth. And that's very, very disconcerting. I'm finding that with clients, with colleagues, with others that I would say are on a path of mastery. That's not exactly right because that brings in a hierarchy again, that are wanting to complete a mastery level project this time. And that means doing something that has never been done by their soul before in this way, or perhaps in any other way. And that coincides with the completely new build of the universe. And by that I mean that, again, the frameworks, the blueprints, the scaffolding, the structures, the laws even of the universe as it has been up until now, as it has developed, as it has grown, is completely different. Now, I am not a believer in trickle down, certainly when it comes to the economy or a societal way. But in this case, this new origin concept of the universe first appeared probably a year and a half ago, maybe a little bit more, 1.5 to 2 years ago. And it is only now that we are beginning to experience some of that trickle down to this level, i.e., a planet and planetary project that is beginning to build from that place of clean slate below the foundation. And there are many things that come into play in that, which I'll talk about in the future. But right now, to know that if you're feeling like there is wobbly, or even, not even knowing why to go on, what is there still to do, to enjoy, to create. I mean, from a deep soul place, then you're right on time. If there's any variations of that theme in your life, again, you're right on time. So today, because there is such upheaval within, to the deepest levels of our being, human being, even spiritual being, a lot of different energetics have presented themselves this week for a very, very, very powerful and profound practice that actually began. I mean, when I do these Friday talks and deep dives, I'm preparing all week, and in particular the last couple days, for hours at a time. This morning, hours in deep places, as well as in communication and collaboration and cooperation with all of those beings, some human, many in the non-physical aspects of Earth, aspects of our galaxy and the cosmos at large, because we are all in on this. The entire universe is in on this. The entire universe is, as I said, is evolving, but from a completely new way. The galaxy is birthing something new in an entirely different format, framework. The Earth, humans, we are creating a new way. That's why I keep referring to it a new way. It's not a new Earth. It's not a anything. Rebuild, reset, redesign, anything. This is from new. And when you don't have your known reference points and believed truths and experiences, even in the spiritual or in the energetic, that becomes very scary. It becomes very difficult, because you're coming to a know-nothing place. And this goes far beyond a leap of faith. This, I liken it most closely to two different references. One, if y'all have listened to me at all in the past, movies come into play, and this is no exception. Jumanji: The Next Level. Fun movie, fabulous, the concept, and if you really get into it, there is a hero's journey in there, very, very definitely, for each of us. But the it suffice to say it's a group of teenagers, and they end up inside of a video game. The original Jumanji with Robin Williams, he fell into a board game. And in this case, different characters or avatars have different abilities and skills and knowledge. And there is one character that is, and one character only of the group, that is able to even see the map that they have, much less be able to read it. On top of which, this map only reveals the level at which they are right now. So it's a blank map, and there's drawing in one section of it, and until they complete that level, they do not, even the avatar that's a cartographer is not able to see the rest of the map. It begins to appear as they've completed that level. And that can be very, very disconcerting, especially when there's dangers coming at you, which there are in the movie, especially when you don't even know one another well. There's a lot of aspects of similarity to what we're going through right now on a larger planetary basis. And then the other is an amazing book by Cryon, which is a group of beings in the non-physical, channeled by the amazing and wonderful Lee Carroll, and has done since 1987. And in this book called The Journey Home, it is a fable, and the character receives a map, and on the map there is a red dot where the character is, and there is a small portion of the path beyond that red dot, and it isn't until he walks that path that any further parts of the map are shown. And again, it's only the path, and when he arrives at a certain point, the map stops, and until he completes what he is there to do or know or come to expand himself, then the red dot doesn't even show up. So they're both very fascinating metaphors for this moment we're in, where we cannot see any further along the map, because we need to do whatever it is we're needing to do in that particular spot we're standing in, and B, there is no design, there is no structure. We are writing that map, drawing that map as we move along. And the only, reference points we can have are within us, coming to know and have ourselves as much as possible, and live in that freedom and sovereignty that comes with deeply, widely knowing thyself. And the assistance that we can tap into as an automatic when and as you know thyself more. We get little signs here and there. Everyone has the experiences, synchronicity, etc. But these are beyond that level of information or resourcing. This is a resource through our innate, which is our direct line of communication to our own soul, and our own soul is leading us, showing us, telling us, and then all of this massive web of beings and aspects of the earth and aspects or beings from other worlds, kingdoms, realms show up. And so we have this wide range in our container today, a very, very, very disparate and very wide range, as always. And so So they are already here in the container. I will name them. I will invoke or invite them in again, so that as I do, the transmission of that energetic is being able to be felt and experienced. And then we're going to drop in. We're going to drop in very, very deeply. And those of you who have listened before know that it is a different method of meditation. I don't even call it that, because that immediately implies a lot of practices and ways of connecting and being with the spirit, being with the spiritual world, being with spirit in a typical way for you, and this may not be. So I will walk you in a little bit, and also I will probably continue to speak to channel as we're moving down deeper and within, only to let you know, some part of you, that the recording is continuing to go on, and that we're still in the containers, allowing you to just completely let go of your brain and not have to again figure out what to do or actively do anything, because that's another one of the huge pieces within this cycle or space place we are moving through as humans right now. And that is that the masculine doing and asserting and efforting and work is not part of this new way. And that means completely and utterly moving from, as, and through the feminine way that I've been teaching about for many, many years at this point, that incorporates 6 different factors, and that is connection, communication, cooperation, collaboration, and communion. 5. And that is the way. Whether that's connection, communication, collaboration, cooperation within you and all the many parts of you, human and beyond, or whether it is how to create with all of those participants that are part of this Earth project. As I mentioned, worlds, realms, kingdoms, dimensions, other cosmic energetics, or whether it is the way between and among humans of connecting, communicating, cooperating, collaborating, and communing, or in community. And many people are aware of that and are practicing parts of that, if not more of that, in their lives. And it's so wonderful, because that is the way things are being created. Yes, that 6th factor, is creation. So when we're doing this deep dive energetically, we are we are entering into this process, this practice, from, with, and through that way, that feminine way of deep, deep, deep connection, communication, meaning in that, in this particular instance, it is feeling, sensating, experiencing your body, your energy field, your wider self, which is your soul self, your emotional body, your guides, teachers, masters, aspects of whatever may appear, earth aspects. Remember, information comes in symbol, sound, song, shape, story, song title, movie, memory, myth, character from a book, cartoon, anything that is within your reference library from from the moment you're born until now, all of the secondary and tertiary through parents, family, friends, tertiary through community, fourth level out would be society, history, on and on and on and on. And that listening for that is very physical, very energetic, very internally sensating. Anytime you go to your mind, you're moving away from that massive field, that massive web of help and references and resources, but moreover, you're moving out of yourself. Even into higher mind is still different than going within. So we're going to be practicing that in a little bit. I'm also going to invite and call in upon the plant, tree, and flower masters for their message today, their contribution. I think I'm going to do that first before I name all of the factors that are a part of this sacred, very complex geometric configuration that we're sitting in. So as you know, this is done completely without my mind. I close my eyes, my hand kinesthetically locates an oil. Meanwhile, my system is telling me where it's going to go on the body, and that represents the energy field, psycho-emotional aspects, many things. And so then I interpret from the characteristics and the mastery aspects of that particular oil or blend, and where it's going on the human body energy field, and interpret what is being said by that. So, if you'll excuse me for just a second, I'm going to turn away from the camera because, again, this is done kinesthetically. I'm sorry. The oil masters have a very definite sense of humor. My clients see it all the time because we close sessions with a message from them, and it will be the issue that we were just working through and transmuting, and then the oil will come out and I let them know, and we're both giggling. So to follow on, this is an oil called surrender, and it would be going on your very core, your very essence. And that is about 3 finger widths below your xiphoid bone, or where your ribs come together, right where your diaphragm is. And if you lay 3 fingers side by side and measure downward, it's right there where underneath the 3rd finger. And that is your innate, that is your direct line of communication to your soul. So they're basically saying that when and as you surrender, and there's many levels of that, as you surrender to the very essence of you, your essence is your soul accumulative knowledge experiences that you take with you existence to existence. So as you surrender to your very essence, it will enable you to experience the lightness of being when and as you stand in your truth and bring that truth forward. And this is lemongrass, it has also a very kind of fairy-like nature spirit sensation to it, which is one of the energetic aspects or parts of this today's sacred geometric configuration. So again, no surprise there. Allowing you to anchor into eternality. And this is helichrysum, a single oil, and to really anchor into that eternality, the eternality of you, of your soul, of beyond this universe, because this universe has an end date also, but you do not. You as a soul will continue exploring, continue expanding, continue incorporating that which you encounter, that which you come to see, know, feel on any level. That means even when you're in the non-physical. And it stays. Being inspired by life, an oil blend called inspiration. This would be going on your life force point. So that you can truly be excited in your sense of yourself and who you are and your place here on this planet and in the universe. Divinely walking your path. Walking your divine path is a better way to say it. So apparently for now, that's all they have to say. As you surrender to the deepest levels possible, to your very essence, it will enable you to feel the lightness of being in standing in your truth and expressing that truth. Anchoring in your eternality, to be inspired by life, your life, and life in general. Excited in who you are and your sense of yourself, being comfortable in your own skin and your place on the earth and in the universe, to divinely walk your path, or to walk your divine path. And some of the other beautiful helpers presenting themselves today. As I mentioned, I always hesitate to say the fairy kingdom, because generally people have a kind of perception or preconceived idea of what that is. And there are so many different fairy worlds, fairy beings, fairy energetics, that I'm using this as a very wide blanket term to cover many different worlds and kingdoms of and forms of magic. But in particular, there is a world that presented itself this week, kind of best visualized, or if you were looking at the visuals, you could get a taste and a transmission from Brian Froud's work, who was one of the art directors on Labyrinth and The Dark Crystal. And that energy of his artwork brings forward a very particular world that, again, I'm using the term fairy. He does as well, but that may not be exactly right, but it'll give you an idea. Another amazing aspect or energetic that is here right now are the mushrooms. And those of you who are familiar with mushrooms, there is mycelium that is underground that interconnects all mushrooms really on the planet, allows for this massive network of communication, of transmission back and forth, not only to and through the mushrooms, but through the trees, through other aspects of forests, land and habitats. So it's very, very closely symbolizes and in actuality is the fiber of the universe that again has recently been tapped into and brought forth, as well as the neural net. There is a similarity between and among all three of those webs or nets. Another beautiful being, and again, that underground that's going on, this underground building, this under the foundation, as I said, it's coming up, it's connecting for the creation and the build of the new way between and among humans and back with the earth. Mountain ranges are also one of the beautiful beings that are presenting themselves to us today. And mountain ranges have a very different energetic than mountains. Different mountain ranges have very, very, very different qualities of energetics and what they transmit. So just be aware if any particular ones show up, whether you're watching something or someone's mentioning that they're going to certain mountains. Again, let your innate bring you the particular mountain range that is stepping forward to work with you at this point in time. And we have the sweetness of summer fruit. It's all around, it's everywhere, and a lot of it is being affected by climate change, by industrial farming, by our, disconnect from the earth to go in and just, take off the trees, what they give us, what they approve of us taking, much like the Indigenous way or the ancient cultures who had a back and forth with the land and with nature and with trees, with the fruit of and the abundance of Mother Earth. Another beautiful aspect or beautiful energetic is the lush green here in the western or northern hemisphere. Particularly here on the East Coast, we've had a lot of water. Things have grown and we are much further in the lushness and abundance at this point in the summer than we would be. Normally this would be later July, the amount of growth, etc., and greening. But it's come early. Again, a lot of this has to do with being out of sync with the normal seasons and cycles of the planet because of warming and the cycle being broken, the circle being broken. And I think the other huge energetic that is here this week is story, myths, legends. They came in, I believe, last week as well, but now in a new form, that the stories and storytelling and the verbalization of stories, epics, myths allow for a continuation and a re-establishment each and every time they're told, with the way of that land from whence the particular story comes, the interaction and relationship of humans with the land and all of the beings, non-physical beings that are part of that conglomeration, and beings, whether they were gods, goddesses, aspects of earth, sorcerers, wizards, witches, etc. For the, dark aspects are in there as well, as they are in all things. Whether they were mythological beasts or animal helpers and teachers, each country has its origin stories and its different myths and mythological beings that each time the story was told, and the storyteller's energy itself and the listener's energy all went into the perpetuation of that land, human, non-human, other beings, cooperation and collaboration to maintain the earth, water, air, land, animals, for the healthy, not just interrelatedness, but the food sources and the continuation of the in balance and in harmony, harmonious continuation of that section of the earth. And with the elimination or lack of storytelling and continuation of the knowing, not just belief in these figures within myth and story, but the knowing, the experience, the sensation, the energetic transmission, reception of the transmission of those beings, so that it's not just an intellectual exercise or an intellectual mind-based hearing or acknowledging of the story. This is a full-out physical, energetic, emotional, spiritual experience, and that is the level to which this design of interaction with the earth and all of those beings involved in this earth project. So that is very, very strong. If you, as a youngster, read myth or legends or stories, or are into different genres of movies, even video games, there's the story behind it and the interaction. Although I don't know that some of those are not as pure. Certainly the old stories from ancient times, these are what we need to bring back into our bodies to create that union and communion with the earth and all the participants therein. And lastly, prayer. And everyone has their own definition of prayer, but I think just in its core, prayer is speaking to the divine spirit, speaking out your wishes in some way, bringing from inside outward that which you feel, that which you desire, that which you dream, that which you want. And of course, sitting in stillness is the receptive, the listening. So just those core aspects of kind of an overall prayerful way. So if you'd like to just settle down in your chair or couch or floor, whatever you may be seated on, I'm going to even, laying down today is okay. Lying down, that position, because normally when we're sitting up, particularly with dropping in, it's easier to do so. I would encourage you to sit because there is more potential sensation. But if you really feel more comfortable today to lie down, please do so. And I would just invite you to say to yourself or out loud, I am asking and I am allowing my body. I am asking and I am allowing my energy field. I am asking and I am allowing my wider self. I am asking and I am allowing my emotional body. I am asking and I am allowing my guides, teachers, masters, helpers. I am allowing and I am asking all parts of me, all aspects of me, all times of me to join me here and now. Assisting, guiding, helping me to drop down and in to me. And as those of you who have joined me before know, allowing has no effort, no work, no doing. And that's really important right now, not only in our practice, but that doing of the masculine aspect is part of what is falling away. In its old form, doing so with will, doing so with might, doing without the benefit of union and communion with the feminine way. Deconstructing, dismantling, falling apart. All this, these many thousands of years of exploration, which we have reached its end. And so the more you drop down and in, and again, there's nothing you need do. Your body, your energy field, your wider self know how to do this automatically. Just allow. every time you slip into trying or doing or pushing, making it so, you're moving away from allowing. Just come back. Soften, open, allow, and ride with the experience. Much like when you are falling asleep, you can't push or force or make yourself sleep. But you can allow sleep to come, and you can experience and feel the falling asleep. And if in these practices it feels like you are actually falling asleep, allow it to happen. It may be, or you may be slipping into a different state. A less physical state. And still within your physical system, or through your physical system and your energetic. We are not going out anywhere. You are allowing yourself to be led, fall, slip, rotate. Everyone is different, but it is the downward and inward motion for that is your inner verse. There is an entire universe within you. And where your wider self, your soul self wants to locate you today, it knows best. Little limited mind has no clue. I had mentioned earlier, and I'm going to call in once again, the new origin concept of the universe. The new way of law. And as always, the 4 core elements. Land, air, fire, and water. As well as the 7 directions east, west, south, north, above, below, and within. Again, anytime you notice your brain or your visuals or even your third eye engaging, soften. Take your hands off the wheel and allow the deeper, wider wisdom within you to take the lead again. For it is your willingness to not will that will allow for the magic, the new, very well may be beyond your imagining. When and as control in any form or at any degree or in any degree becomes part of the process, it is being limited, restrained, and confined by what is known or what has been. You, dear ones, are at a leap point. Where control interferes with what can become. And yet, we, the ancients, understand so well the human need, tendency to control when security, safety is not apparent or felt. For even your understanding of faith and trust are too narrow for what is called for and called in now. Courage, courage. To step not merely into the unknown, but into the unknowable. Into that which is not knowable because it is not in existence as yet. And what comes in existence comes from inexistence. It is simultaneous and constant. Which is why you may be observing, experiencing the destruction, the erasure, the elimination, of so much of who you have been. Many of those deemed masters, physical humans, are experiencing this utter loss of identity, identification, reference points, pillars, anchors, that heretofore have allowed one to move, navigate, step along the path. But as in those maps that Andrea mentioned, there is no path, or it cannot be seen and known. So we invite you to rest into and play. Taking pleasure and fun in even the tiniest choices and actions. For thereby you express, put your desires and wants and wishes into the great cosmic web for the new to come into being. In your own life, on this planet, and throughout the universe. And this way of being is encoded in you, encoded in and through your DNA. Continue the exploration down and within. For therein lies all. Simply allow yourself to sensate, feel, experience you, the transmissions, the many participants, not only here today, but constantly throughout every moment of every day. We are all in this together. Humans, non-humans, worlds, realms, kingdoms, dimensions, galaxies, super clusters of galaxies. The universe. And the cosmic is beyond and behind, under and around every universe, of which there are countless. So lean in, rely on, count on, and expect. The connection, the communication, the cooperation, the collaboration, and the communion with all. And as always, you are welcome to continue to be in this energetic container for as long as you like. Knowing that as and when you do return to a more physical experience of this earth plane, all will be consolidated within you. I also invite you to continue to call this in as you go to sleep, or in meditation or as often as you like. Just go to YouTube, pull this up, and experience the energetics. For I was very, very aware of the level of secure holding security in all its many forms within which you can surrender, as our dear oil master invited. For you're surrendering into you, into the essence of you, into this all that is part and parcel of this project, as are you. And please contact me if you'd like to explore your own individual process of becoming new, or new becoming. I have a few slots left for one-on-one programs, so please contact me. I'm also offering this summer immersion initiation sessions at a greatly reduced price, because we are all needed on deck, and it is with great honor that this process that is done in one-on-one sessions allows for huge movement, huge shift, huge change, huge transmutation potential. So if you're ready to make that leap into yourself, through yourself, as yourself, please reach out. And in the meantime, please know that it is always with the greatest of honor, gratitude, and love for your presence here on the planet. Until next time, be well.